Hi, everybody, and welcome to Observing with Webb for July of 2014. Just a reminder, I do this in podcast form as well. If you prefer the audio, it's at mrwebb.podbean.com. And you should be watching this on my YouTube channel. So July for astronomy, there's really not too much exciting going on, although Mars does get close to the moon and Spica, and Saturn does get very close to the moon. And that's about it. We have some shorter nights, but they're much, much warmer nights, which make it nice. No meteor showers or anything, but July should be fun, especially for those fireworks that'll come on the 4th. Now, if we take a look at the sky for the month, let's just go to July 15th, and let's look to the west, and let's see if we go to sunset. Sunset is around 8:30. But I usually like to look at things around like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So let's talk about planets. What can you see almost every night as far as planets go? Well, if you're looking toward the west around sunset, or kind of south-southwest, you'll be able to see both Mars and Saturn up in that direction. Mars is a little more to the west, plus you can find it because it'll be close to Spica. Spica is the brightest star in Virgo. And if you can find the Big Dipper, wherever you're at, or wherever you are, and follow the handle, you can follow the arc that the handle makes to Arcturus, the brightest star in Bootes. And then after you follow that arc, speed on to Spica, which is the very bright star, the brightest star in Virgo. That's where Mars is hanging out this month. Saturn is a little bit off to the left, but that's a good one to take the binoculars out to see the rings. Saturn's going to set around 1 a.m., so you got some time to take a look at those. Remember, Saturn is going to be brighter than the stars around it. Mars will be brighter, but also a little bit more red. So then as far as the other planets go, Jupiter, you're not going to be able to see. Jupiter's way too close to the moon, to the sun, from our perspective right now. But if you want to see Venus and Mercury, you're going to have to wait until a little bit before sunrise. So I'm going to face east at sunrise. And if it was sunrise, you would see Venus up here and Mercury right here, although you wouldn't actually see that because it's way too bright. So if you want to see them, you're going to have to get up around, I'd say 5 a.m. at the latest and try to take a look. It'll still be somewhat bright. But you might be able to find Venus being very bright and Mercury not quite so bright. However, those are the planets that you can see in July. So 2 in the evening, 2 in the morning. Let's talk about what the sky's actually going to look like as far as events happening. So let's go back to, let's see, sunset. Let's look toward the south, and let's go to July 5th. Is really the first time anything starts happening. We fast forward to nighttime. Oh, and take a look at that. Mars and the moon are very close together on the 5th. In fact, this is what it would actually look like in real life. You'll see Mars not far away at all. In fact, and let's see. No, that's not quite working. Usually it'll give me an angle. I think it's about 1 degree away, which would be your pinky finger width, if you hold it at arm's length. And that'll be right near, we're pretty close to Spica, the brightest star, in Virgo, as I said before. And so what you do, that's the first quarter moon, so you can see the moon until about midnight. And if you want to know where Mars is, look on the 5th. It's right next to the moon. 2 days later, the moon gets very close to Saturn. Saturn, this is a good time to look at Saturn because Saturn has the rings that you can see with a telescope. And the moon has the craters, which with this terminator right here, you can see the craters very well because they cast lots of good shadows. And then, after the 7th, not much happens until the 12th, which, okay, so take a look at the moon. It gets fuller and fuller and fuller until, boom, the 12th. You have a full moon. That's when it's visible all night. It comes up in the east around sunset, and it sets in the west around sunrise. Then the next night, something happens, but it has nothing to do with the moon. You can't really see anything here. We're going to go back over to Mars, over here, and Spica. Now Mars, this is as close as Mars is going to get to Spica for the month. Let me center on Spica, and let me show you where Mars is on the first, okay, and on the second, third, fourth, fifth, and so you see Mars passes by throughout the month of July, which is pretty cool to check out. But on the 13th, that's when they are the closest. Let's see, and then nothing really happens until we go to the 18th of July, and the 18th of July is when, well, you have to wait till about 1 a.m., and then the moon will pop up. It'll be the third quarter moon. That's when the left half of it is lit up, and you can see it into the morning. And then, again, not much really happens. Even on the 24th, you might be able to catch a glimpse of Venus and the moon right around here, but that'll be hard to see. The moon will be very, very thin, very, very crescent, and very close to the horizon, and it'll be bright. The sky will be bright because of dawn. And technically, let me just show you this. The next day, technically, Mercury will be close to the moon, but the moon will be practically impossible to see. And those are the events for July. Really not much going on. So let's reset. Let's take a look at the zenith. So let's look straight up. And let's talk about the constellations that you can see if you're actually looking straight up. Now, I don't normally recommend you looking straight up because you can get twisted around pretty quickly, but let's see, July 15th, let's go to sunset, and then let me scroll to add, let's go till 10 o'clock. Okay? So now, if you're looking just after sunset, around 10 o'clock actually, you can see three constellations. You've got Bootes the shepherd, Hercules the hero, and Corona Borealis, which they really should have the full constellation here. They only have these 4 stars. You can definitely see a good C shape or a crown. And one other way to find it is if you can find the Big Dipper, okay, if you can follow the arc of its handle, you can follow that arc to Arcturus, and you can find Bootes right there. I like Corona Borealis. That's one of my favorites. But Hercules, if you zoom in with binoculars or a telescope, you can find the Hercules cluster M13 right in there. I would suggest getting binoculars out, although some people can say that they see it without any optical aid. But you need dark skies and decent vision to do that. All right, so that's the center. Straight up, right around 10 o'clock. Let's move to midnight. Right around midnight is when those summer constellations start coming out. You have Lyra, the harp, Cygnus, the swan, and Aquila, the eagle. And also right next to it is Delphinus, the dolphin. Now these first 3 bright constellations also have the 3 brightest stars in the summer sky. Cygnus has Lyra has Vega, the brightest star, and Cygnus has, wow, my brain's going dead, Deneb. Deneb is its brightest star, and Aquila has Altair, its brightest star. But anyway, those create the summer triangle, which I wish I could put a nice little link up here, or a little picture, although I bet if you ask Dave, Farina, he'll tell you exactly how to do that on Starry Night, but I don't. So anyway, let's fast forward to the morning right before dawn. Right before dawn, you'll be able to see Pegasus and Andromeda. Andromeda are these 2 little arcs that are actually attached to Pegasus, the winged horse. And if you have good eyesight and a nice dark place, you might be able to find the Andromeda galaxy kind of hugging that curve. And yeah, that's really what's going on. Let me just look to the north real quick around sunset. If you look around sunset, you'll see the Big Dipper over here. And as the night goes by, it sort of digs deeper and deeper. Draco is nice and up high, so you can see it without it dying too much in the sky glow. And don't forget, if you have the Big Dipper here, okay, if you have the Big Dipper, you can follow the pointer stars to Polaris, which is it's the North Star, and it's a very bright star in Ursa Major. I'm sorry, Ursa Minor. It's late. I need to go to bed. But anyway, I hope you guys have very clear, dark skies for the month of July, and enjoy.